Hey, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Meryl Stewart, CEO of Marketing and Business Solutions. And today I wanted to talk to you about making the ask. It's that part about the sales process, or if you're a fundraiser, talking to a donor and asking them for money or asking them for that sale. And it can be a little intimidating to people. Most people don't raise their hand first to say that they want to be the one to ask. But I want to share some tips with you today that might make you feel a little more comfortable when you're going through the process. So let's get started. So, step one, do your research. Researching your prospect is something that I think most of us take for granted. But doing the right research can really give you some great insight into the type of person that they are, the things that they value, the things that they love, and give you kind of a little bit of an edge on how you ask your questions or how you engage with them in conversation. You can learn about, what types of things that they enjoy, especially if you're on social media. Maybe look up and see things that they've commented on, types of pictures that they post. It's similar to going into someone's office and kind of taking in their awards or things that are special to them that are framed on the wall. You kind of pick up on little idiosyncrasies about their personality that help you connect with them. The same thing goes for doing that research online. So go online, take a look, see what they're all about. Especially if you're a fundraiser and you're looking at a prospective donor, it's great to see maybe where they've given in the past, if they have a private foundation that they grant dollars through. It might give you a clearer picture of the types of things that they might support from an impact perspective. So, step one, do your research. Step two, connect. So, this is that building the relationship phase. And I've talked about this quite a bit because I really believe that building strong relationships is the key to being a successful salesperson, being a successful fundraiser, because that way you can go back to people multiple times and have continued conversations with them. But that first, kind of connection point, that first time that you meet or get on the phone, or these days do a virtual meeting, I like to approach it from the perspective of that I'm asking them for advice. I'd like for them to give me advice on something I'm having a problem with, or give me advice on an issue that I know that they could provide some input on. And what it does is it really gets them bought into part of the conversation, so that it's not so much about me asking them questions and quizzing them on who they are, but it's more about how is it that I connect with them on something that's important to them, that's also important to me. And if there is, input that they're able to provide in a meaningful way, then I know that there's some interest there to continue the conversation forward. So asking for advice is a great way to engage someone in an initial conversation. It feels less like, I know I'm going to go to lunch or to coffee with this person and they're going to ask me for something, and more of a genuine exchange of ideas. They're more inclined to help you if they feel like they have some kind of say or some weight in it. And it's an important piece of this because you don't want this to just be the first time that you have a conversation. So it also helps create trust. It's a great tool to continue to strengthen the foundation of that friendship and that relationship. So I highly recommend that first contact be more of that. I'm asking you for advice. I've got a problem to solve. Once you've established trust and some banter back and forth, it may be your second, third, fourth time that you get together, and you'll kind of know. But for me, when I'm meeting with somebody who I am trying to get to the place where I'm ready to ask them for the sale or ask them for a contribution, it feels a little bit like a matchmaking process to me. And I'll try to explain it. When I have a conversation with someone, I am trying to figure out who they are and what they value so that I can connect with them. But I'm also trying to listen for those opportunities where they may say something that they have a problem, that they need solved, or they have a passion and they're trying to do something, and I might be the solution for that. And so that matchmaking process is really, in my mind, a conversation, but it's about really listening intently to the person that you're talking to listen, to hear what it is that they're trying to accomplish and try to match it with what you're trying to accomplish, hence the matchmaking. So in my mind, that getting to the ask is kind of the next natural progression in a conversation. For you, it might be something you have to practice quite a bit to kind of pick up on those idiosyncrasies of the conversation. But listen to your gut, listen to your instincts. You'll kind of know whether it's the right time or not. Once you've established that trust, asking them key questions about something that you're trying to get them to make a decision on at the end, such as I want to go and ask someone for a contribution to help the environment. Ask them about a problem that's happening in the environment right now and get them to start talking. It will allow you to let them talk, for you to listen. I know that means that we actually have to be quiet and silent and just wait in that kind of awkward silence for the next thing to happen. But what it does is it pushes the other person to continue to talk and to continue to share. And that's really important because there's going to be things that they say that make you connect with, oh yes, this is the right opportunity, or yes, this is the right time to make that ask. If you're selling, it's also very important because that person should be sharing with you the issue or the problem that they're trying to solve. And and part of that is that you want to be able to be the answer to their problem. You have a product or service that can fit right in there and help them with it. So if you do the right amount of listening and you ask the right questions, it becomes very easy for you to figure out what the next steps are. That silence in the middle, I know it's hard, but it's something that a lot of people recommend. I recommend it. In the moments where I've been quiet, I've been able to really connect with somebody and know exactly which opportunity or which element of the ask that I want to do is appropriate and the right time. The third step is to close the deal. So all of us want to walk out of there with that sales sheet signed, the gift agreement signed. But part of that is that you need to make sure that you kind of run the facts back against each other. And closing the deal, in my experience, has been, really that chance to make sure that I'm echoing what the other person has told me. They understand what I'm saying, that the commitment is going to be, but it's also the time to get really specific about what it is that you're asking them to do and what it is that you're going to have to deliver on your side from maybe a benefit or, product spec perspective to make sure that you're fulfilling the obligation and exceeding their expectations. So closing the deal is really a very specific time. It's that time where you need to say, I would like you to consider making a gift of $250,000 to support our organization and impact XYZ. Or it's, I would like to, have you consider making a purchase of $250,000 of these products and services because you've expressed that you have this need and these will help you fix it. It's being very specific. So don't be afraid to say the dollar amount. Don't be afraid to get into the nitty gritty of what it is that you need from them, but also be open to what it is they might ask you in return. For donations, it might be that they need a certain level of recognition or they may need a certain level of interaction from the organization in order to meet the level of donation that you're asking from them. On the sales side, it may mean that you need to provide, additional service or check in with them or troubleshoot some other issue on an ongoing basis. So that closing the deal is not just about you getting the yes, which it's mostly about that, but it's also about clarifying what the expectations are on both sides so that after you're done, you can move forward knowing that both sides are very clear and that you know what success looks like so that you can achieve that. Step 4 is saying thank you. Oh my gosh, people cannot say thank you enough. Always say thank you, whether it's a sale or it's a donation. It's so important for the person on the other side who's just made that investment to feel appreciated and to feel valued by you and your organization or your business. Send a card, send an email, send them a video, a thank you video. Get creative with it. If you are a business that maybe has like just a really vibrant culture or something unique about you, maybe do something that represents that and send it to them. If you're an organization, I've worked with many kids organizations and they've had kids do handprints and make cards and something that it just seems a little bit more heartfelt than the average person just writing a note and sending it, although that is wonderful as well. So just don't be afraid to be creative about it. Think of something outside of the box, something that has that personal touch that really makes somebody feel like you've taken the time to acknowledge and thank them. And the 5th step is follow up. This is the part where we all get stuck, is the follow up piece. We get so excited about the relationship, the conversations, the sale, the donation, getting all the stuff done, getting in our computer systems, making sure everybody knows, hitting those goals. And then we stumble on the follow up. The follow up is so important. It's equally as important as thanking. and more important in my perspective than many of the other steps in this process because it leads to retention. Most of us don't want to be scrambling around trying to find the next donor, the next customer on an ongoing basis. And although part of our goals have a mix of new and current donors or customers, however, it is much easier to retain a customer than to go find a new one. And research shows that if you retain a customer, many times they increase their buying power with larger purchases moving forward after that initial purchase, and donors the same. They invest more and more over time, the more connected that they feel with the organization. So make sure that you follow up with people at the very least to retain them. But you want them to feel good about what it is that they've just experienced. You want them to feel good about the investment that they've just made. You don't want them to forget about you. And so touching base with them monthly or quarterly at the very least is really important. And it could just be something I do is I might be reading an article about someone or a topic, and I know, okay, this person has an interest in that, or I wonder if they know about this. And I'll just shoot a quick email and say, hey, Joe, I was reading this article. I know you love this, this topic. I just wanted to share it with you. Been thinking about you. Hope everything's good. That's a great touch point because it just keeps you kind of top of mind, keeps your brand and your organization, in front of them. And so if that's something that may be easy for you to do, please consider doing that. It could also just be a phone call or an email to touch base and check in. That's a tongue twister. And just make sure that they're doing okay. It's also a great time for them to give feedback to you. So if a customer has purchased something, maybe they're experiencing another problem that needs to be solved that you can help with. And so it's a nice time to enter into that kind of conversation before something becomes a crisis on their end. And then you're kind of working really, hard and feverishly to try to solve it. It's something that can kind of be, helped along the way. And you come in as kind of that expert as they're having issues and a trusted source for their issues. For donors, they want to know about impact. They want to know about what is their investment doing out there in the community? How is it impacting the mission of your organization? And so touching base with them regularly to let them know this is what's happening. Here's how this investment is helping us. Sharing those metrics that you collect that proves the work that you're doing is amazing. Share that with them. And it could be something as simple as in an email or in some type of a chart, or it doesn't have to always be that annual report at the end of the year or some really well-designed piece. It's just keeping them in the loop so that they don't forget and that they know that you haven't forgotten. So I hope that those things help you as you're making your asks, whether you're in sales or in fundraising. If you'd like some more information about our company and how we work with businesses, please visit www.mymabs.com. It's www.mymabs.com. Thanks so much. See you soon.